Alright everyone, hello and welcome back to Made with Perfection on our NaNoRenO playthrough on VNsNow.com. I am JP the Third, and we're picking up exactly where we left off with our Simpsons caricatures in the background, and yeah, we're just going to move on from here and we will see exactly where this game takes us. I can now play all of my video games whenever I wanted and not have a care in the world. I didn't have to work hard, and I could relax my day away. Something in the pit of my stomach reminded me that a catch could come up to bite me at any time, but for now I was content with my situation. Going to bed that night as like floating. Okay, if you're gonna charge something, at least make sure this isn't a grammatical error. Going to bed that night was like floating on the clouds. Waking up was even better, surprisingly. I stretched out and yawned, feeling the bed adjust to my movement, the mattress practically begging me to stay longer. But I knew that I couldn't stay in bed forever. I looked at the time on my phone, 10 o'clock a.m. That clock has not changed. Why is it always on 4?
Damn, I slept a lot.
I rolled out of bed and stood up, stretching up and feeling absolutely amazing. Since I didn't have to work, I could laze around and play video games if I wanted to. However, first things were first. Breakfast. I started to turn towards my door when a knock suddenly echoed from it. It was gentle, as if it didn't want to disturb me.
Yes?
Oh, you're awake. May I come in, Master? I made breakfast.
Huh? Breakfast? Oh, sure, come in.
Carolyn opened the door, and immediately my nose was filled with the smell of amazing food. I watched as Carolyn brought in a tray of pancakes, eggs, bacon, fruit, and juice with perfect ease. My mouth was already wanting to dig in just from the sight.
I hope you don't mind what I made. I wanted to surprise you.
Oh, no, not at all. This looks great, thank you.
Carolyn brought the tray to my desk, which had a fancy and comfortable leather chair for me to sit in. I'm guessing it's on this side of the room, past the lamp where we can't see it. I quickly walked over and sat down as Carolyn poured me some fresh juice from the glass bottle to my empty cup. Okay, can we just touch on this for 5 seconds? If this is supposed to be some kind of opulent room for the wealthy, why does it look like any typical old person's room? Just got your bed, your nightstand, and a couple of dressers. Where's the chandelier? Where's the extravagant wallpaper? Where's the massive bed with, the curtains and the... It just seems like there should be more to it than this. It doesn't... this doesn't make me feel rich. This makes me feel like, I don't know, a retiree.
So, Master, do you have anything planned for today?
I looked at Carolyn, a little confused.
Oh, no, I don't believe so. I kinda quit my job, so I can play games and stuff. Do I have any jobs while I'm here?
To my relief, Carolyn shook her head with a smile.
No, I just wanted to ask. Usually nobles go out and do stuff since they don't have work.
Yeah, like charities, functions, government stuff. If this was Britain, there would be a House of Lords you can sit in, but since you're technically fake nobility, I guess not.
Well, I don't exactly know where I am on the map, so it's kinda hard to get out.
Well,
Before Carolyn could explain more, a light buzz echoed through the room, making Carolyn turn towards the door. On the side of the door, was a metal rectangular interface. It was too far away for me to read, but there was a blinking white light that followed the sound of the buzz. This is going to be another issue. There are pretty much no sound effects, and in a game that keeps talking about the sound effects and the knocking and everything like that, it is pretty much missed. It shouldn't, this is the simple stuff. You can find free sound effects sites, and it's not going to sound professional, but it'll get the job done.
Huh? What is that?
Carolyn stepped towards the monitor and pressed her finger against the screen a couple of times. The monitor made a blip sound before showing the front door. When the heck did I get that? I waited, being that the monitor was too far to see from where I was, and watched as Carolyn fiddled with the monitor a bit.
Someone's at the door, Master.
Someone came to visit me? That was unexpected. How did anyone know? How did anyone know about where I lived? Or learn about, whichever one particular. Can I just say this? If you have a commercial game, no matter what the amount is, the absolute least you can do is make sure that these very, very simple grammatical errors aren't in the game. One simple read through fixes this kind of stuff. Now, the more complicated stuff, and by complicated I mean the stuff where it's a turn of phrase or a tense. That's more. It depends on kind of like if tense, past, present, and future tense to me as an American are different than it would be to someone who's Canadian or British. But this kind of stuff is easily fixable. And the fact that it is still here means that they didn't bother to fully edit it. They edited it enough to where it passed, the sniff test, but then edited it enough to where it was presentable. It just didn't smell as bad as other games I guess they were hoping for. That was a rambling speech that gets to the point that I don't like this kind of stuff. And I wish I had a square to say bad editing. I looked to Carolyn, but stopped myself from asking her anything as I took in the look on her face. She had a look of both concern and almost fear. Was she okay?
Hey, are you alright?
I'm fine, Master. Should I go get it?
I nodded to her, standing up as well. I might as well greet them and learn who the visitor was and why they were visiting. Something in my stomach told me that this was the catch that I was missing. This visitor would reveal the catch to being a noble. Carolyn headed downstairs with me right beside her. As I reached the middle of one of the staircases, I stopped and watched Carolyn continue towards the door. She reached and grasped the door handle, turning it and pulling the door open. Then I heard something fly through the air and embed itself into a surface.
Damn it! Missed!
I instantly turned to see a knife with a red handle embedded into the railing farther down the stairs, equal level to Carolyn's head. My man went blank at the sight. Why was a knife? Oh God, I'm an idiot. This is about to go in a freaking awesome direction. I turned to see Carolyn back away from the door, staring intently at the two women that stood in the doorway. One girl, dressed in a red Maid uniform, smirked as she stared at Carolyn. She looked practically crazy, her eyes almost glowing in excitement and fury. Red will do that to you. The other woman was someone who looked to be a little older than I was. She wore a business suit and had an air of snobbish poise about her. Something about her didn't let me like her, despite her being... Yes.
You're quick, aren't you? The Academy must have beat the living hell out of you to make you that fast. Oh, you're not gonna talk to me? Typical of the teacher's pet. Then again, you always were the lonely, pathetic type. You're not funny. I think I'm hilarious. Everyone at the Academy thought so. Being the second best had its perks. At least you remember who is the top of the class. You may be the top of the class, but let me show you who's the real top between us!
Okay, somebody's having fun with this.
Red, stop wasting my time and fight.
Yes, ma'am!
Oh, I said the maid, named after the color of her dress, charged at Carolyn with another knife. I gripped to the railing, wondering what the hell was happening. Before I could shout in protest, though, Carolyn quickly slid to the side, grabbing the railing of the stairs opposite of the one I was on and flipping over it. This is a drawback to most visual novels. You gotta describe all the action. There's no, who did that really well? Nuge, I think, or Route Zero, whoever did the doll story, did it very well and did it in comic panels. And that's probably the best way to handle action scenes like this. I'm about to get a workout, aren't I? What? I stared wide-eyed as Carolyn gained a look of pure determination as she glared at Red.
Oh, putting your training to use. At least this will be fun.
And there they go again. Red then ran up and grabbed the railing, vaulting over and thrusting her knife at Carolyn, who swiftly twirled down the stairs and watched her knife embedded itself to the wall. I can't English.
Stand still!
Red pulled it out with almost monster strength and charged again at Carolyn, who quickly ran backwards to keep distance.
What is going on?
That's what I want to know. The woman who watched the fight looked up at me, taking in the side of my body before smirking.
So you must be the new noble. Interesting. I never thought a middle-class rat would make their way into our society.
Yeah, definitely with the vocal mixing. We're going to have to probably kickstart some kind of better vocal mixing software for the team. I glared. What the hell was her deal?
My name is Angela Worthing, the current top-ranking noble in the area. However, don't bother trying to remember that. You won't be a noble long enough for my name to be of any use.
Can I just punch her now and be done with it? Angela smirked at my
I
confusion.
hope you enjoyed the little time you had here. Too bad I'll be taking your noble title away.
Huh? What does she mean? I wasn't going to be a noble for long? I just got here. Why were the maids fighting? Why was she so cocky?
What are you talking about?
Thank you. Angela looked to the maids as if she was going to ignore me, but she spoke to me with her focus on the fight.
Do you know why you were brought here? I'll give you a friendly hint. It's not just because you won some little lottery.
I looked to the fight between the maids and back at the woman. This made no sense, so I didn't answer. Angela took my silence as my reply and continued.
I'm sure the man that brought you here spouted out about this being a financial experiment for us. While that is true, it's an investment experiment for the maids.
This was about the maids? That made no sense, yet at the same time something was clicking in my head. No one turned to me at last, making me look back at her.
We are part of a government experiment to develop a new method of discreet military weaponry. Those maids are not just maids, but they're soldiers.
What? Soldiers?
Angela smirked at the surprise on my face. Carolyn was a soldier? She was a cute maid. That didn't make any sense.
They are trained just like military soldiers and are tested to rise above their ranks within a set amount of time. Should they succeed, they are offered to become part of the experiment. Many try, few succeed, and even fewer accept the deal.
But this is ridiculous. Why would anyone accept this kind of deal?
Because some would rather help and serve their country in the long run than die on the battlefield.
For some reason that made sense. No, it doesn't. There's a litany of reasons why that doesn't make sense. If you died in battle, you died. However, if this was a military experiment, then this would help the future. So, dying in battle for your country, that's not worth anything in this universe. In this universe, being a soldier, a rank and file soldier, and going to war and following your country's orders and fulfilling whatever mission you're given and dying in honor on the battlefield is not as worth as putting on a maid uniform and flashing your panties at some random a-hole that happens to be stationed in the mansion. I'm starting to worry about this game's morality. The question was, how? As if the noble woman near me read my mind, she turned back to the maids.
Red, attack the master.
Wait, what? I shot my head to the maid in question as she looked to me with a large grin. She jumped away from Carolyn and hopped onto the railing on the opposite stairs. Like a ninja, she ran up the railing and across the top rails before sliding down the stairs. I was on one. I'm going to leave that as a note for later. Raising her knife to slice my head off. Wouldn't it have just been more economical to throw the knife? I mean, Carolyn was the only one who could dodge it. You could have just threw it and killed me right then and there. You didn't have to do all those gymnastics just to come and attack me with the knife.
No!
That was ear splitting. Oh, hey, we got an event graphic. Out of nowhere, Carolyn jumped over the railing in front of me and grabbed at Red's arms, protecting me from Red's knife.
How sweet! Protecting your master unarmed! You must be stupider than I thought! I'll protect my master with my life! That's the life we live!
I thought You know what? I'm gonna stop trying to figure this game out. Let's just keep going with this insane maid battle.
This isn't some cheesy romance game, oh pathetic one. Don't be so dramatic!
Carolyn glared at Red pressed against her hands, trying not to slash at Carolyn's throat.
I'm curious, though. How fast did you open your legs for your master? I bet you suck in bed as much as you do at being a maid.
I don't need to open my legs to be the best maid I can be. I didn't have to sleep my way to the top, unlike you.
I'll kill you, bitch!
Catfight! I can only step back in fear as Carolyn pushed Red off of the railing and vaulted over it after her. Carolyn's expression contorted to become full of pure rage as she began to fight offensively, using a convenient nearby broom like a long-handled hammer against Red and her knife.
Red, beside me.
There's so many lamps and chairs and stuff. Why didn't you just use that? That was quick. Instantly, Red stopped defending and quickly jumped to her master's side, glaring at Carolyn. However, I could tell that Red was twitching and itching to keep fighting. Carolyn stopped as well and glared at Red with silent contempt. I felt both protected and proud to see her defend me like she did. At the same time, I was dumbstruck at how skilled she was at fighting.
These women are trained to do one thing: serve. They are dedicated to serving their masters and not only care for their home, but protect them with their life. The government wants to essentially create a small private force of fighters to protect and assassinate important leaders. That way, we can secretly have the upper hand against anyone who tries to overthrow us from the inside out. Think of it like the Secret Service, only 10 times better, without the hassle of having moronic hirelings as the agents.
We're essentially the next best thing to come out of military funding. Add the fact that we have boobs, and you will never suspect a thing.
Okay, so basically this entire plan works because misogyny. That's what I'm getting. You have to inherently underestimate they do. Okay, fine, we'll go with it.
The reason these girls are maids is to train them to blend into their surroundings perfectly. It's one thing to see a man in a suit with an earpiece and assume they're guardians. It's another to suspect a servant who is cleaning a vase or sweeping the floor.
But anybody with half a brain would suspect that. I mean, that's how if you read history, those are usually the most dangerous ones. The servants, the people in the house, they're the ones who kill the masters whenever there's a revolution happening, or they're the spies, or there's something. Anybody with half a brain would suspect the servants first. Oh God, we're going over. I don't want to stop, yet I have no. You know what? I'm not. We're going to finish up this scene, and hopefully this scene will be done pretty quickly. Let me just shut up and push through. Well, focus on the narration and push through. I looked at Red instinctively, watching her smirk widely as she lifted her skirt a bit and revealed a line of knives sheathed in a ring around her petticoat. I could feel the blood in my head drain to my chest, the sight striking fear into my core. So she's an assassin too. I think that goes towards my point. I looked at Carolyn and she still had a hard glare on her face, staring into Red's eyes. Did she have a secret weapon on her? I now didn't know what I was looking at when I looked at the maid beside me. The only thing you really looked at on her was below her dress, but okay. Both a soldier and a maid, she was a scary force to be reckoned.
Red, continue the fight.
Okay, pinning it here since they're going to apparently stretch this on for a little bit. I got so much to say and nowhere near enough time to say it. So just leave a like if you're enjoying the video. Leave a comment if you either want to defend what you're seeing right here or agree with me that this is just getting into such an insane point that you just kind of got to ride with it, I guess. We're just going to ride with it in the next chapter and just try and push through. And as always, VNsnow.com. That is VNsnow.com for all of your EVN needs. I'm going to stop this before we stretch too long or I explode into 1,000 questions. Until next time.